You'll never walk alone. What's going on, Jeromes? Happy Thursday. It's a beautiful day for some Q's and some A's. Thank you, everyone who submitted questions. Periodically, we'll toss it on the community tab, so there you go. First up is B. Breaker. What veterans do not return for 2025? I don't see Fabian Moreau returning if Blackman is healthy. So Blackman is going to be healthy. He's a stud. All right, and so here's a list of the Vikings' prominent 2025 free agents. So a lot of guys on one-year deals. Of course, Sam Darnold, Stephon Gilmore, Aaron Jones, Shaq Griffin, Tillery, Reisner, Bullard, etc. And also Byron Murphy's 2-year deal expiring as well. So, I mean, there's a lot of glue guys here. Right, and a lot of guys that I wouldn't mind having back, probably at reduced rates, including Gilmore and Griffin. I mean, they've been fantastic on the outside, but they're a year older. Murph, I go back and forth, right? And I feel like at some points he's on point. At other times he's just kind of all over the place, right? But the price would have to be right. Slinging Sam Darnold's a major question because what if Darnold wins the division, 1 seed, leads the Vikings on a playoff run? We'll say takes the Vikings to the Super Bowl. We'll leave it open-ended. What happens? What happens? It's a tough decision, but the Vikings do have $76 million estimated cap space, and I mean, retaining a number of these guys will take some cash, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. And then also you have guys like Quisenberry's getting up there in age. Brandon Powell, of course, they love having him around. Hadi Ward, it seems like he has found a place, and I don't think a number of these guys will be too expensive, especially if the Vikings have success. Right, but also you have guys like Patrick Jones, whose rookie deal is expiring, and then all of a sudden, Patrick Jones could be playing himself into some money, and also you got guys like Cameron Beasley, who didn't make this list because he's on his rookie deal. But question is what's going to happen with him, right? And is he going to get extended long term? Is he going to sign a major deal somewhere else? Don't know. All right, so basically. Can't believe Beasley didn't make the cut here. But basically, it comes down to what happens with those pieces on defense and with Darnold, right? And I think that I would love to have Griffin, Gilmore, Tillery, Hadi Ward back, Bullard back on cheap deals like the Vikings did this offseason. And guys like Aaron Jones, we'll see if he stays healthy the rest of this year. He does turn 30 in December. And with Darnold, I mean, it's a good problem to have, like we said all along. Next. John Merck, please grade Andrew quell my fears that adding a player before the trade deadline may ruin the mojo and brotherhood of the locker room. Here's always been my stance. If one player can ruin your locker room, and the whole locker room cancer thing, blah, 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 you have a bad locker room, right? And the Vikings, they have a veteran team. So the Vikings are weird because they're young at key positions. You look at Jefferson, Hockenson, Darisaw, J.J. McCarthy, Diamond Dallas Turner, etc. But they're veterans everywhere else. It's a weird dichotomy, but they have veteran leadership. They're dialed in. They're having fun. Their focus is the Super Bowl, and one player is not going to come in and upset that balance. Like, he'll be ostracized, or if he doesn't conform, otherwise he'll be gone. All right, so he will mesh, or otherwise it's going to be an issue. Right, so even if they brought in, OBJ is not going to be coming in, but someone like OBJ, I wouldn't worry about it, right? Because everyone's focused in the same direction. Everyone's rowing in the same direction. So, I would not be worried about that at all. Next, Uncle Primal. Who in the future could you see being the next Darnold, Geno, or Mayfield? So a guy that didn't work out with his original team, highly drafted, but then all of a sudden he gets in a good situation and balls out. So Justin Fields right now is looking good. Like, he's making plays. Is he ever going to be your orthodox drop back, dropping pills all over the place? No, but he's very dangerous with his legs. He's got a huge arm as well. And I think that the Bears obviously did him very dirty. Right? The coaching wasn't there. The talent wasn't there. And it was issues all over the place. So I believe in Justin Fields. And frankly, I hope he hangs on to that job in Pittsburgh. I think that he syncs up well with what Tomlin wants to do on defense. And then you got Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson has the arm. He did not have the maturity when he came into the league, straight up. And the Jets, we've talked about with the Jets, with Geno and Sanchez and Darnold, etc. Like, it's just a place where young quarterbacks go to not work out, right? And Wilson's got a great arm. I think if he can get some maturity together and get with the right offensive coaches as well as some talent around him, I think that he could be a little something. Also, you look at guys like Drake May. I think that it's not going to work out with Drake May in New England because I just think that they're too far behind the 8 ball talent-wise. So I think that Drake May on his next team will pan out. Also, Trevor Lawrence. Or could we see a resurgence of Mac Jones? Probably not. Probably not. Next. Michael Converse, how would you grade Tillery and Jonathan Bullard's performances so far? They don't make many splashy plays, but they seem to be key pieces in the run defense for the Vikings. So that's the thing about odd front defensive ends. 4-tech, 5-techs, like they do the dirty work. Unless you're J.J. Watt or Cameron Hayward, you're generally not going to get your name called, right? Or if you're like Calais Campbell, right? But Tilley and Bullard, they've been fantastic. So Bullard this year, 11 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, 3 pressures as well. Tillery, 8 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 8 pressures. No sacks between them, but any pass rush that you get out of them is a bonus. And their job is to absorb bodies and make sure that AVG, Grenard, Turner, Jones, etc. are able to scrape and get free, right? And they've done great jobs. And Tillery has gotten some really nice pressures. I think he's 5th on the team in pressures. So overall, I think that both of them have done extremely well, and both are on very team-friendly deals, and I like their attitude. I like that they bought in. Bullard's been here for a couple of years. Tillery, the former first-round pick by the Chargers, and he got cut by Tom Telesco twice. But he really is buying in. Plus, you can tell, I can say vibes because Flores talks about vibes, even though that's not really a word I use, but you can tell from the Tell Us from Metellus videos, just like subtle things, that Jerry Tillery, he gets along with his teammates, he's fitting in, and he's doing really good things on this defense. And that's the thing too, if you're a 4-tech, 5-tech in a 3-4 team, you are going to get physically abused, and everyone else is going to get the glory, and you're not going to be paid a ton. But that's what it means to be a team player. They're very good against the run, good at setting the edge. They're not going to get the splashy highlights. They're not going to get highly graded by PFF, but these guys make the team. They're very important out there. Lastly, damn, Handy, love your videos. Thank you. Been a fan for 3 years now and counting. Thank you very much for coming along. If you could bring back one Vikings player in their prime to help this 2024 Super Bowl run, who would you bring back? Well, the obvious ones would be like Randy Moss and Chris Carter and Steve Hutchinson. Right, and Mick Tingelhoff. Right, well, first up, we need to era calibrate these players. So Mick Tingelhoff is not going to be a 240-pound center, but we'll say Mick Tingelhoff's 300 or something like that, right? But, the ones that stand out, Antoine Winfield Sr. would be a ton of fun. Or you look at, Scott Studwell would be great. Chris Dolman, obviously, would be fantastic. You look at Alan Page. You look at John Randall. You look at Adrian Peterson in his prime. He doesn't need a pass block. We're just going to run it. There's a number of names out there, but if I had to just pick one, I know the Moss and Carter are all-time greats, except I feel like we're pretty good at receiver. Winfield would be really fantastic, basically taking Murph's spot in the slot. I think that would be really good. But the thing that we're missing, we just praised Tillery and Bullard, but we said whatever you get as a pass rush is a bonus. Just having John Randall blow up a gap continually on passing downs. That would be great. Or Alan Page, but like we said, Alan Page was like 240 when he played 250. So size scaled up for inflation. But that would be good. But, oh, man. Hutchinson or Randall McDaniel would be so tempting at guard. Could have all of them, man. But it's really good. Anyways, that's it. Your thoughts on our thoughts. Q&A on this beautiful day. Bay. You guys know what to do. Skull, production value.